what's happening right now is there are a lot of people wanting to come back to India. The people experienced in oil and gas industry, they have been working in, 10 years, 20 years in Middle East, but they all want to come back into our company because at some point of time, they want to come back. Of course, they have some personal considerations like aging parents, all that. And also nowadays there is a trend, they want to come back and contribute to the country. So that's also happening. And when they see company like us, because we are very unique, because we are not just an EPC company.
Right.
We go beyond EPC. We have installation, commissioning, and then we operate and maintain our own fleets. The fleets are owned by us. So the way we cover the full project life cycle, you can really count probably one or two companies in the world actually. So they want to experience the the complete project life cycle. They come back and they join us actually. So we hire a mix of experienced personnel, but at the same time augment with the graduates coming from the universities. Since the fleets are owned by us, for example, the construction yard is very close by. It's there in Singapore and China. We expose them to construction activities. We send them to take a short assignment in construction yard because physically they need to see what they are designing or building.
Welcome to another episode of Tech Titans by ETGCCWorld. And today we have with us Brathaban Karuppiah from SBM Offshore. He's the country general manager, India. And for those who don't know, he'll introduce the company to you. Brath, thank you for doing this.
Thanks a lot, Deb. So I am the country general manager of SBM Offshore India. I wanted to give you a little bit about our evaluation or growth story in India. We started way back in 2019 September as a joint venture. At that point of time, we started as a engineering setup. We had in mind engineering at that point of time. But within a short span of time, we have added many functions in our growth story. For example, in 2020, we have added the supply chain. In 2021, we have something called brownfield project services, along with the project management. Then again, we added technical support to our operating fleets. So that's another addition we had. Then I would say in 2023 June, we had a kind of big inflection point. Right from the beginning, even though we started as a joint venture, we know that at some point of time, we will come out of the joint venture and we will become completely fully owned subsidiary of SBM Offshore. So that's what happened exactly in 2023 June. That helped us to accelerate the growth journey of India. So after that, we started adding global document control function here, digital functions in India. We also have a global data manager placed in India. So it's all a very, very interesting growth story we had, even though we had relatively a young company. It's only about 7 years or something like that, but relatively a young company, but then grown very well within these 7 years. Just wanted to highlight a few things. When I talk about our growth, while we deliver projects worldwide, some of the global initiatives or global functions are located here in India. The one thing to highlight is the supply chain for bulks procurement. What we did is we understood the talent available in India, especially for sourcing for our projects. So what we did quickly is we established a centralized hub for bulks procurement in India. So we started with piping. So what that means is the project could be anywhere in Guyana, Brazil, or in West Africa. It could be in Suriname. But when the projects wants to procure bulks, for example, piping, they need to rely on the Bengaluru centralized hub. The sourcing could be anywhere. It could be from China, it could be from Europe. But in terms of procurement activity, it's centralized as a hub in Bangalore office. So we started with the piping hub. Then we are now expanding into valves hub because in our fleets we have thousands of valves. So that needs a huge procurement cycle. So we expanded to valves hub. And also we have now plans to introduce E&A hub, meaning electrical and instrumentation bulks procurement hub. On that account, I also wanted to highlight two more things. The entire document management function is centralized in India. In fact, the global document control manager is sitting here in India. And all the other groups, document groups in other offices like Rotterdam or Malaysia or Monaco, they all report to this particular manager. Similarly, we deal with huge data per fleet. So the global data demand manager, wherever there is a demand for data, it's all channelized through the global data demand manager sitting here. So it's a well planned growth story for India, Dev. That's what I would say.
In a way, it's a reverse GCC story. A lot of GCC start at the execution level and then go towards product and engineering. They started there and kind of worked backwards in that sense. Is that something that you always thought you would do, product and then other stuff?
Yeah, for sure, because our company is not a services company, it's a product company. Our product is FPSOs. So when we started, wanted to have an engineering center to begin with, but always we had an idea to slowly introduce other functions, add other functions in the Indian setup, so that we thoroughly become kind of a project execution center or a global delivery center involved in all the projects that we execute. So that was the idea right from the beginning, and that's what we are building on so far.
You belong to a background where not a lot of people would have a lot of background about. In general, I'm talking about the masters, right? It's oil and gas offshore. What's a engineering challenge you would say that somebody from a traditional software background would probably never even think of that you guys have managed to solve, so to say?
Okay. So to begin with, we do have typical engineering streams. So the kind of engineers we have, chemical engineers, they are called process engineers. We have mechanical engineers. We have electrical instrumentation engineers. We have naval architects. We have marine engineers. So there are typical streams in our setup as well. But for a person coming from software industry, the key thing for him to understand is, one is, of course, naturally our product, that is FPSO, but how all these different streams are integrated together. That's the key in terms of adoption for somebody coming from software industry, because you can't, of course, you will come from one discipline. It could be a mechanical, electrical, all that, but you need to understand how everything comes together in an integrated way. So integration is the key. Once people are able to understand how well everything is integrated to deliver FPSO, I think then they will succeed. And another thing is, these are all operating in deep sea, am I right?
Yeah.
From a seashore, you need to travel up to 200, 300 kilometers into the sea or ocean. Then you kind of extract oil in 2000 meters depth. So whatever the facilities like product we design, FPSO, it's subjected to very harsh conditions. Right. It could be waves, it could be a severe wind condition. So how does it kind of withstand all that severe weather conditions, still able to produce oil in a continuous manner? Because for us, reliability is very key. It needs to continuously produce oil. We can't allow that to kind of shut down even for a day. There are planned shutdowns, but then we need to have continuous flow of oil. So that also they need to understand, how do we kind of ensure asset integrity, reliability. Those are all the things anybody coming from software industry, even though they may be working only in digital stream, but better understanding of the product, the integration of various streams, and how the FPSOs operate in severe weather conditions, all that they need to understand and adapt, then they will become all right.
You mentioned something interesting, right? Because of the industry itself, and this is probably true for something like BFSI also, that reliability and trust is the most important thing here. You have to build with that in mind.
Yeah.
But speed is also something that is expected of a delivery center, GCC, whatever you want to call it. And with AI coming in now, I think that's also. How do you balance these two, like speed and this reliability?
Reliability.
Is there push from elsewhere that we need to go faster because of AI now, and do you need to push back sometimes? Does that also happen?
Okay. I'll take a little bit of time because this is a big topic in terms of AI.
Yeah.
So I'll probably divide into 3 distinct parts. The first one is very common, right? It helps you to increase your productivity. For example, Copilot, you have. It's a self-understanding tool, and that increases your productivity. Then you move up the ladder. Then you have something like because since we operate fleets, we have so much of reports available. So how do you kind of structure the reports? So things like low code, no code solutions, digital solutions like Power BI reports, that's another stream. Then one more thing is like, how do we do our business or processes? For example, like once upon a time, we have something called GTS, that is Global Technical Standards. It runs into hundreds and thousands of pages. So the earlier time, you need to memorize everything to apply that while designing the fleets. But with the advent of AI, you don't need that, right? You can create a parts. So whatever the questions you ask, it will pick up relevant GTS and tell you this is what you need to kind of ensure that it's possible to do that in the design phase. So that's another one, small parts we create. But coming to the big one, what you are talking about, this is where we have something like a digital twin and also the predictive AI. So when I talk about digital twin, as we design the fleet, we also build the digital model. So it's a clone of what you want to see when you deliver the fleet. So it has so much of data inbuilt into the digital twin. So which will be very, very beneficial when you operate the fleets, because a lot of data you can easily refer from the digital twin. You can even kind of simulate the data even before you actually do that in the fleets, actually. So that's a digital twin. Another one, this is what I was just thinking about, predictive AI. This is very, very interesting. I'll probably give you a bit of a human analogy, because sometime back, I don't know, you get sick or something like that, you don't know even what hit you. That's the earlier phase.
Right.
Suddenly something happens to you, you don't have time to react. But then comes, nowadays, like it's very popular, preventive health checkup. So routinely you do checkup like every 6 months or 1 year, and based on the insights, you take some action. Now, if you look at the advancement in the biofield, all that, they are even looking at biomarkers so that what is going to hit you in another 2 years' time or 5 years' time, then they take some action to prevent that. This is exactly happening for our fleets also. It's a huge running machinery, am I right? So earlier, there will be some breakdown, then we try to replace the component. Then came routine maintenance. Every 6 months or 1 year, whether that component fails or not, we will compulsorily replace. But now we are optimizing our maintenance. So that's where the predictive AI helps us. We continue to monitor our equipments, and we have so much of huge data available with us. So it gives you some trends. So based on the trends, you take corrective action. You don't just like that replace all the equipments. Where there is a insight that, okay, this might fail, approaching that failure point, you replace that one. So in a way, you're optimizing the maintenance. So that's where the predictive AI helps. But to give you an overall picture, AI will be very, very impactful if your data is very structured. And if you don't have the data structure, you will be struggling to get the benefit out of AI. So at this point of time, as a company, we are focusing on structuring our data because
it's a legacy company, right? And it's a legacy industry as well. So
yeah, legacy industry as well.
Years of decades of unstructured data.
Yeah, correct. Because at that point of time, nobody was giving importance to structure the data. Data should be available. That's all. But here, you need to be thinking about availability of data, accuracy of data, and structure of the data. So unless you provide a structure to the data, then you cannot reap the benefit of AI. So that's what we are focusing on. And then one particular fleet has millions of data. So how do you structure the data so that we reap the benefit out of AI? That's what we are focusing. At the same time, parallelly, we wherever we have we see a high impact, I was talking about the pods or general productivity tools, all that we are focusing as well. So it's like a parallel stream. But to reap maximum benefit out of AI, we are at the moment focusing on data structuring.
Let's go back to the kind of people you hired. You said that you hire chemical engineers across the board and engineers across the board, right? Typically, as India's IT boom happened, and even the GCs in the initial space, they used to largely hire software engineers or hire people from other streams and make them software engineers, right? That was what the IT story was about. That has largely changed. In fact, I was reading recently that IITs and IIMs are seeing fewer CS candidates and more in traditional fields because of AI. How easy or difficult is it now when you started and versus now to hire in those streams? Is it improving? Have you guys done anything with universities so far to kind of do that? Because you're hiring across streams, right? And finding that kind of talent interdisciplinary is probably tough, I'm assuming.
No, but what we do is definitely we have graduates hiring program. So we go to the universities. What we look for is the traditional engineering disciplines, as I was mentioning earlier, like chemical engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical instrumentation engineers, marine engineers, all that we are able to hire. But then once we hire, we do have a very good graduates training program. That is where we expose them to kind of interdiscipline coordination, how one discipline integrates with the other discipline. The decision you make in your particular discipline, for example, if you are a chemical engineer, you make a particular decision, but then how downstream it affects other disciplines. How a mechanical engineer gets affected by your decision, or an electrical instrumentation decision engineer gets affected by your decision. All that we have a very good training program. At the same time, we are able to hire experienced people also. I think, as you know, Middle East a huge workforce in oil and gas. And what's happening right now is there are a lot of people wanting to come back to India. The people experienced in oil and gas industry, they have been working in, 10 years, 20 years in Middle East, but they all want to come back into our company. Because one of the unique... sorry?
That's an interesting insight.
Yeah. Because at some point of time, they want to come back. Of course, they have some personal considerations like aging parents, all that. And also nowadays there is a trend, they want to come back and contribute to the country. So that's also happening. And when they see company like us, because we are very unique, because we are not just an EPC company. We go beyond EPC. We have installation, commissioning, and then we operate and maintain our own fleets. The fleets are owned by us. So the way we cover the full project life cycle, you can really count probably one or two companies in the world actually. So they want to experience the complete project life cycle. They come back and they join us actually. So we hire a mix of experienced personnel, but at the same time augment with the graduates coming from the universities. And then since the fleets are owned by us, for example, the construction yard is very close by. It's there in Singapore and China. We expose them to construction activities. We send them to take a short assignment in construction yard because physically they need to see what they are designing or building. And second thing is we have offices in Monaco, Rotterdam, then in KL in Malaysia. We also kind of send them on a short assignment. So it should be 3 months or 6 months. This is exposing them to multicultural environment, how various offices are joining together to deliver a project they get to understand. So those kind of exposure we give it to all our engineers, all our technical people all around.
Brett, while we were talking earlier before the shoot, you spoke about how you want this office, the new one that you have opened here, to feel like one that you would probably go into anywhere else in the world. Talk to me about culture, because that's kind of a discussion that's happening everywhere now. What does culture really mean to you and SBM Offshore at large?
So definitely. If you look at our 4 core values, we have integrity, of course. Then we have collaboration, ownership. We have some one core value called care. So it's not about caring for the planet while we build the fleets, but care for the employees. So that's very, very evident when you see our culture. So it's very open and transparent. And as an employee, when you join in, you will have within a short time, once you settle in your job, you will have a clear guidance on how do you want to grow within SBM, and not limited by India. It could be at a global level also. So what is the path you want to take? Like you want to go into a project management, or you want to become a technical specialist, or you want to become a general management person. You can decide at some point in your career. There is an inflection point, then you can decide. And all the 3 paths are equally good. But you will have the visibility, and with that visibility, we also offer learning and development for the people. So we have n number of training programs. Early potentials, that is for young graduates. We have a first-time manager. Then we have a managerial leadership program. And then we have executive leadership program, ELP, MLP, EPP. So we have various training programs or leadership programs for employees to experience. And coming back to this office, because we have been in another office till about 3-4 weeks back, and whenever it's a bit personal, whenever I visited other offices in Rotterdam or Monaco or KL, I always felt, why can't we have a similar office in India? Because we are equal partners, and then anybody stepping into any facility within SBM, they should feel the same way. So that was the drive. And the earlier office, it was a fully functional office, but then it had a bit of a limitation in terms of wholesome employee experience, in terms of health and well-being activities, in terms of the kind of meeting rooms we wanted to have, collaboration spaces we wanted to have, both the formal collaboration space and informal collaboration space. So that's the ideas we took from our other global offices. And when we floated this idea that we want to kind of have office on par with international offices, our top leadership fully appreciative and fully supported the idea. That's how we built this office. I can confidently say that when anyone steps into this office now, they won't feel any difference at all.
But I'll go back to your point about those different training programs and how they will grow, right?
Yeah.
A cheeky question, if you may. 20 years from now, if somebody joining today wants to be Brath, do they have that clear career growth?
Oh yes. If you take our global CEO, He joined as a graduate trainee.
Okay.
And then he continued in the company, and right now he is a global CEO. So why not that will not happen in India? Because any graduate joining in, or any young employee for that matter, once they are able to kind of have a clear thought about their growth, where do they want to grow, then definitely they can definitely think about my position. There is nothing stopping. The only thing I would say is like they need to kind of, they come from one particular engineering trade, am I right? Mechanical, electrical, all that. But they need to understand the integration of all other trades. That is number one. They need to be mobile, because some people, they have difficulty in terms of mobility, but we offer great opportunities for mobility. They can move to a construction yard, they can move to some other office, because that exposure helps you grow quickly. So once they take care of mobility, curious to know other disciplines, how well they function, how everything integrates together, I don't see there is any limit for dreaming. Why only about my position? In fact, I would say even at the global CEO position, they can dream and they will get there.
That's good to hear. I'll go slightly broader.
Yeah.
There's an energy transition happening, right? And all energy companies are going to have to change accordingly. At SBM Offshore or broadly also, how do you think technology is going to help you get there?
Okay, so one of our tagline is advancing core and pioneering more. And also we have our promise of true blue transition. In fact, that is our promise for both internal and external stakeholders. So we will continue to do what we are currently doing, because FPSOs have still a very good market in the coming years. So we will continue to do that. At the same time, how do we kind of minimize our carbon footprint? So there are technologies helping us. For example, like we have tied up with a Japanese company called MHI to help us with the carbon capture modules. So that module can be fitted in our FPSO to minimize the carbon footprint. So that kind of agreement we have. But at the same time, we are also looking at having this deep water expertise. How come we can apply this expertise to the transition to new markets? So one example I can quote is, we have again had a joint venture with Technip Energies for floating offshore wind turbines. So in fact, we already have a plant running in France, but we are expecting the markets to mature.
Right.
Because at this point of time, there is a lot of interest in newer technologies, transition to renewables. At the same time, if you ask me, like, is that a mature, well-developed market? No, we are not there. It's still some more time to go. But so what we are focusing on is technologies that is helping us to keep us ready. The moment the market is available, we are already ready to transition to newer energies. So that's what I would say. There are definitely technology helping us to transition to new energies, and we are partnering with those kind of companies so that we are ready.
Last question, Brad, and you have worked across continents. Right?
Yeah.
You have worked with diverse cultures.
Yeah.
If you could leave our viewers with one leadership lesson that has helped you across, regardless of wherever you have worked.
Okay, that's an interesting question. Okay, I would say the first thing that comes to my mind is ownership and accountability. Because what will happen is we collaborate with all the offices and then we deliver projects. So when it comes to your own work, it's difficult to monitor your work sitting some 1,000 miles away, correct? So you need to assume ownership and accountability for your own work. sometimes there are dependencies for your work to be completed from some other disciplines or even some other offices. So you can't wait and watch that something will be done. It will never happen. So you need to drive so that that particular work is fully complete. So I would say ownership and accountability probably helps you earns trust with your own other colleagues and other offices. That's number one. And second thing I would say, probably you need to be curious all the time. That helps you to learn more and more. You could be a mechanical engineer, but then how a marine engineer work to build the APSO? What is his or her contribution in the APSO? So if you are curious to learn more and more, that also helps you. And finally, I would say, don't get restricted by your own discipline. Have a broader view all across the disciplines and how everything comes together. That's where our success is. Understand how everything comes together. That's what I would say that lead you to succeed in your role.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks. That was a great interview.
Thanks a lot, Dev. It's my pleasure. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, and stay tuned to ETGCCWorld for more such videos.